our grocery store prices keep going up and up and up. And I'm not quite sure why that is the case. I've heard a lot of different things online and news reports saying that some grocery store prices are going down, but I am continuously seeing that a lot of our items are going up in price. And now I'm having to dig into my bag of tricks to keep our grocery bill as low as possible. And today I want to share with you how I'm doing that. But if you're new to our channel, I am one half of the Canny Couple. Erin is not here today. We are a small homestead family in rural Virginia that work every single day to merge homesteading and frugality. And I can tell you, I see every time I look at the grocery store ads, something that I used to buy, the price keeps going up, up and up and up. And I'll give you an example. Pasta is one of those things. So back about 6 years ago, I was getting pasta at the grocery store for 50 cents a box. You'd have to buy a certain amount, you buy that and you could get it. Same thing with pasta sauce. I could get pasta sauce at 79, 69 cents. Now I'm lucky if I can get it at 88 cents. Those, or if you can get it at $1, that seems to be about the lowest it's going to go. In a lot of cases, but I'm continuing to see prices increase. We just saw pasta go up to 99 cents as a sale price. 99 cents. That's a 50%, 50-cent increase. That is crazy to me for pasta, because even in 2022, it was about 50 cents. It went from 50 cents to 70 cents, then to 80 cents. And then our sale price was recently 89 cents, and now it's up to 99. So they're going to keep increasing the prices. And so I'm really feeling like I have to dig to find really good deals and make really hard decisions. I want to share with you what I'm doing. These are practical ways that I lower my grocery budget. Not crazy, extreme frugality ways. These are just practical, frugal ways I lower my grocery budget every single time I go to the grocery store, every single time I buy food. So make hard choices. You're going to have your I'm not going to buy this item any longer price. What is that price? $6 for a thing of cookies or $2 for a thing of cookies. Learn to make it yourself, do without, or find an alternative. I know a lot of people were struggling with this recently with eggs. Eggs is one of those things I'm seeing go down in our area, but maybe there's other options. You can buy eggs from a local farmer, probably cheaper. I know in our area you can get eggs from local people who have eggs for $3 per dozen. That's a lot cheaper than paying $5 per dozen, which is our grocery store price at the moment. So you really need to have those hard choices on hand to make those decisions. You need to know what you're absolutely, I cannot buy this price. And don't be guilted, and don't, be like, oh, but it's like 10 cents. Nope, this is my price. I'm not getting it. I will walk away. My walk away price. That's what it is. I will walk away at that price. We're not getting it. Avoid processed, ultra processed foods or individual serving foods. Now this is important because ultra processed, I've really been avoiding this as much as possible, getting a lot of this out of my pantry. It's ultra processed food that you eat is already processed. You cook it, you make it processed, you process it yourself. And I feel like that is a better alternative, and it tends to be cheaper because you're not getting a small amount of ingredients to make those meals. You're getting them in bulk. So you're going to have, based off of something like a pasta hamburger bake, you're going to have that you get a box that has all the seasonings and everything in it. I know for us, when I was buying them on sale, and I used to buy these a lot, I was getting like 70 cents or cheaper. Now they are way over that. They're like closer to $1 something. So they're like twice the price they were before. And that is the store brand. I can get a box of pasta. I can have all those seasonings and do a lot more with them. Make the seasonings for basic seasonings I have on hand. It's still going to be cheaper. Individual servings, if you go down through the aisles, even the cheap ones that are $1, they're going to be this big. You can go get $1 of mac and cheese and a box of mac and cheese for $1 if you can get it on sale, or less, and make more mac and cheese in that little bitty individual serving that you're getting. So you're going to pay less cost per serving if you go this route. You want to make sure that you're buying single ingredients, fewer ingredient food items as much as you can, because it's going to help your pantry out as well. Determine your cost per serving, as we were just talking, cost per serving. If you pay $1 for one serving of mac and cheese, but you can get 3 servings for 79 cents, do the math. But I would also extend to say, look at your cost per serving and also look at the cost to cook the food. If it's something that requires my oven a lot, or is it something that I can use in the Instapot? The Instapot pulls way less energy than my oven, way less. Hands down, not even remotely in the same realm. We see a spike in energy consumption when I have that oven going all the time versus whenever all I have going is the Instapot, and I really try to focus on that Instapot as much as possible, or the stovetop, whatever works the best. It doesn't always work that way. Sometimes I have to use the oven, but I make sure I make it work. I will do 8 loaves of bread, not 2 loaves of bread. I will do, 3 or 4 times the amount of homemade cereal versus just one little batch of homemade cereal. I'm going to make that oven being on count. So I also look at the cost to cook it, how hard it is to cook it, how difficult it is to cook it. And on that note, this is not one, and this is a bonus tip. Bonus, don't have really intricate recipes that have 1,000 ingredients. I will look at the number of ingredients before I even look at a recipe. Unless it's something really specific that I know is going to have a few. But if I see a recipe that has like 4 ingredients and it has 10 ingredients, I'm going to look at the 4 ingredient way before I ever look at the 10 ingredient. I want as few ingredients as possible because it's going to be way less expensive compared to other options. The next tip is going to be to use every single part of what you could buy as much as you can. So I'm talking about all your vegetable scraps, everything, your bones. Make sure you're making broth. I feel like people discount just what all you could do with broth. Vegetable broth, beef broth, chicken broth, turkey broth. Chicken and turkey, to me, they both are hand in hand. You can use them both the same way. But you can do nothing more than make it, put it in your freezer a cup at a time, and just stick it in with your rice or your pot of beans or your soup. It's going to add more calories and nutrition than just adding water. And you didn't waste it. All you have to do is use your Instapot. It is not some super long, complicated process. Now, I'm going to try to take mine a step further. What I like to do is also try to find ways, how can I take these chicken bones and turkey bones and all this and turn it into something else? Once they're falling apart and they're crumbling in my hand, my goal is to actually use this as fertilizer in my garden. Banana peels. What does anybody do with the banana peel? Well, I give mine to my chickens. But now I'm also using that to make homemade fertilizer. Eggshells, using that to make fertilizer, giving it to my chickens. I'm really looking at, how can I push this even further? If I take and I have scraps that I have pressure cooked, like carrots, celery, anything like that, or berry pulp, I will give those to the chickens. I can't do anything else with it. To the chickens it goes. But I'm going to pull as much that I can eat, that we will eat from those items as possible before I discard the item. So use everything you can from those items. Get creative. Think outside the box. Look for different ways to do it. Be willing to explore other stores. You hear the word discount grocery. You're like, oh, it's all expired. I'm going to tell you, I get some of my best deals on foods at our discount grocery. It is not expired. It is way before it's going to expire. And they'll be on clearance, and they'll be good food. There's nothing wrong with the food at all. It's where we get our coffee. Not expired, never had an issue with it. We've never had an issue shopping at discount grocery stores. So be willing to go to those places. Expand your horizons. Amish stores. Join their social media groups. This is where you're going to see the big deals like chicken on sale for $1.40, $1.20 per pound chicken breasts, or other items. We just saw some sausages that they had that were really a good option. We couldn't get to them, but they were a really good option. If we could have gotten there, we would have went. Online, retail, grocery. Don't make special trips if you can help it. It has to be a really smoking deal, or it's very limited. That's whenever I would make a special trip. But for the most part, you can really maximize your savings by going around. And for a lot of these places, you can look up the prices and compare. You can look up the price. Use your phone. Look it up. Do the work. Do the work. That's part of it. It's not extreme. This is just you being conscious of how much money you're spending. I can tell you, I will spend more money on flour at my local grocery store than I will at Walmart. It's cheaper. I've looked at all the sites. I've looked everywhere. It's cheaper. So why in the world would I go spend it at my local grocery store unless I can help it? Sometimes Walmart's out. I will go to Walmart to get that flour just because it is over $1 cheaper. It doesn't make sense. Okay, know your sale prices. I can't believe how many people talk to. They're like, it looks like a good sale. No, it's not. Because a lot of times they put things in those ads and they might not actually be the rock bottom sale prices. Now, I know pasta, the price went up because I keep an eye on those things. I keep an eye on the price of pasta when it's on sale. These are the items I look for. So items that you eat often, depending on what those items are. Like for me, I look at rice, I look at beans, I look at pasta, I look at certain sauces, single ingredient, canned foods, things that are shelf stable, meat, things like that. I look at all of these and I look at the prices and I kind of know in the back of my head what the sale price is. I know that's hard for a lot of people to do. Build yourself a price book. You can go buy one, but I'm going to tell you, this don't need to be anything fancy. You can seriously have a list on your refrigerator with the price that you see for sale. And you can do it to where you can mark through it, change it out. I would make sure that is where you see it, with where you put your grocery store ads or however you look at them, have it where you get it handy. And you're just picking those items that you buy all the time. We all know what we like to eat. Or you should at this point. Or unless you're new to cooking, then you might know. You might need to experiment and try. This is when I would try those single serving foods just to kind of get a feel of what do I like to eat? What do I need to have on hand? But make sure you're doing these things and you can go ahead and get them when they're on sale and stock up your working pantry, which is the next step. Build a good working pantry with, really well stocked basic ingredient foods that you eat. That's what you're wanting to focus on. Focus on foods that you can transform into multiple ways. So, I'm on 2 examples here. Candy corn salsa. I can do a lot more with candy corn than a candy corn salsa. Yeah, they can both go into soup. They can both go into rice. They can both go on meat. But with candy corn, I can make corn fritters. I can make corn dumplings. I can make a corn souffle. I can make a corn casserole. I can make buttered corn. I can make cream corn. I can make a corn chowder, a soup. I can do anything I wanted to with a plain can of corn that can of corn salsa might not really work for. So you have to think about that. Can of tomatoes. You could do a lot more with a can of tomatoes. That's just a plain diced can of tomatoes versus a seasoned can of tomatoes, like with basil or with hot peppers or things like that. Having that plain can of tomatoes, I can make chili, I can make tomato soup, I can make spaghetti sauce, I can make anything I want to with that, which is a few seasonings pulled out of my cabinet versus the one that's kind of limited to its style and its taste because it's already seasoned. A single ingredient or as few as possible. You really want to focus on versatility. Now, it does mean a little bit more work. I'm not going to lie to you. I'm not going to say it doesn't mean a little bit more work. And I do have a few items in there like salsa that I can grab the salsa and use the salsa and make what I want to with it. But those are small specific items. The majority of my pantry is focused on ingredient, not process, not things that I have, things that I actually have to do something with it to make it into something else. And then this last one is probably one of the most important ones I can give you. Don't fall for marketing, gimmicky things that are going to try to force you to spend more than you were originally thinking. But don't let it guilt you. Don't let it guilt you. So you have, marketing is pushing, especially when it comes to food, it's forcing like an emotion. Like, oh, I want to try that. It looks like it's going to taste good. Or it's going to push guilt. Oh no, I'm not doing a good job for my family. I just went through this myself. I need to look at this a little bit differently and focus on getting these much more expensive items. But wait, my grocery budget is $400 or $500 a month and I have to feed 8 of us. How am I going to do that? you have to really make sure you're not falling for these marketing tips and these marketing gimmicks that are out there. You really want to make sure you're focusing on what your family needs. So you're looking at the ads, commercials, apps, social media, anywhere where they push. I just looked at an app myself. I downloaded the app. I was going through it and I was like, oh, I want to see how I'm doing. And all of a sudden they're like telling me, you're doing really, really bad. You don't need to eat this. You should eat this instead. And the price difference between what I was currently buying, which I felt like was expensive compared to other options, compared to what they were wanting me to purchase, was insanely different. And then all of its suggestions were all of these really, really expensive. And I'm not saying they're not bad and they're not good, and there's a place for everybody to get those, but those don't fit in my budget. I have to come at this much more balanced approach compared to, say, somebody who has a much larger income than I do. We're looking at our future and we're trying to balance, making sure we're eating well, we're eating the best foods that our budget will allow for, while also making sure all of our other current needs and future needs are met as well. So I'm really making sure I look at this with a balanced approach and trying to make sure the guilt doesn't overtake me, because that's the emotion it got for me. It made me feel so guilty, like I'm doing an awful job. I felt this horrible emotion and I was like, let me look. And then I was like, wait a second, hold on, I'm about to fall for something I should know better than to fall for. This is something you need to look at, because that is what marketing does. It is there to help give you that emotion, to help give you that feeling like you need to switch what you're doing and buy this instead. That's what it all is. It's forcing you to buy money. So making sure when you're doing your groceries, do the best you can within your budget. Fed is best, no matter how you get it done. You have to do it based off of the budget you currently have and with what tools you have in your toolbox. And these are the tools I have in mind. So let me know in the comments below what's really working for you. What tips and tricks do you have to keep your grocery store prices lower? What are your grocery store prices? Like I said, I feel like mine keep going up and up and up. I'm not really seeing them come down personally in our area, but we do live rural, so we do tend to have higher grocery prices. But I would love to see what your grocery prices are like in the comments below, and make sure you hit that like and subscribe button. It would really help us a lot, and we would really, really appreciate it. And check out our link tree with all of our other content. And as always, thank you for joining me on the Canny Couple, where we work hard, live simple, and enjoy life. Have a wonderful day.